curiosity appears to everyone, but few follow unyieldingly to where it calls them. To a place where thinkers dream of the unthinkable, and curiosity turns into magic. You'll find your calling is closer than imagined. The College of Engineering at Lawrence Technological University has all the technology and tools to make magic. Be curious. Make magic.
Hi, this is Pete Epkin with the RoboZone podcast. This is introduction number 2, or take 2, and we're in Rebuilt season, build week 5, starting build week 5. We'll get to some introductions right now. Mike, please introduce yourself.
Hey, Pete. Mike Dailey here with Fowlerville F.A.S.T team 7056.
Brody,
And
please introduce. Sorry,
yeah,
Mike.
I was just going to say I'm a coach, mentor, do all mentoring except on code.
Brody, please introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Brody. I'm on team 8608 and the Alphabots, and I am a driver, programmer, and do a few other things.
Brody, don't worry. It's awesome. So very rarely do we get to have students on the team or on the podcast, right? I love having students on the podcast because you guys have a different look at things, and we'll get to that. Okay. So Mike, F.A.S.T team, I was on that team, helped start that team. You are now running that team with Ray. You guys are doing a great job. Tell us what you think about the rebuilt season so far.
The crazy thing is how I think on the outside it looks pretty really easy, and then like 5 minutes after you get into some of the strategy, it seems like it's impossible. All you're doing is trying to shoot a ball into the center hoop, but ranking points are seem like we always had a good path to getting ranking points, even with maybe a limited function robot, and then this year with the climb and being able to have a hopper and a shooter and an intake and only extending over one side, all those forces they all seem to oppose each other, and it makes the game really, really hard. I think that's how I'd summarize it.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I would agree with you. Brody, you came to kick off with me, so we did kick off the Alpha Bots and the Robo Beavers that kick off together. We asked a lot of questions. What do you think about Rebuilt so far?
Yeah, the kickoff was fun. I enjoyed it. Off the top of my mind, it's very terrifying in that it's an optimization game, because it's hard to differentiate robots in that sense, because you can't just all the robots do the exact same thing. There's no
Right.
Well, this one only does L4 and L3, this one only does L1, like Reefscape was last year. They all shoot into the hub, so it's like, how do you differentiate that? Like, how do you, like, in a match, do you know? It's kind of hard to tell whether you're going to be fighting for your life to try and get the score to be the same. It's hard to know.
Let's expand this. I'll make it easier. Okay. I know you love, and you showed me wheels last year. You know, you were parading around with these special wheels when we had kickoff last year, right?
Yes,
so you could tell me what about where the Alphabots are right now in their process, right? Tell me about,
like, in
your build process.
In our build process.
Yeah.
We're pretty in the middle of machining at this point.
Okay.
We have a lot of parts are being cut. We're getting pretty close to being done. We're still a little unsure about the climber.
Okay.
There's so many ways. There's a few ways that we're like almost like have it. We almost have a version.
Okay.
There's multiple like avenues we can make the climber go with the climber, but they all seem to have their own issues and like space constraints. We've prioritized the actual scoring of fuel over the climber, and there's very little space about the area of the top of a swerve module in our CAD to fit an entire climber. So
right.
There's a little bit more, but it's 1.5 times the top area of a the swerve module. It's not a lot of space.
So are you guys going after level 1? Are you guys going after level 2? Are you guys going after level 3?
Our ideal,
Yeah,
our ideal is level 3. Level 1 view is simple enough that we can just slap on a climber and we'll at least get out in the air. But level 3, I kind of going back to what I mentioned, a minute ago about differentiating the different
yeah,
robots. I kind of think of L3 as like one of those like differentiators. And like
sure.
if it's not on paper, it is not worth it in
Okay,
a lot of ways, because you can just score 30 more game pieces and you have your L3 score. Or but if uh, it reminds me a lot of like the trap in Crescendo. We did the trap in Crescendo, and it was one of the things that like it wasn't worth it on paper because it was just worth one of the amplified notes. And when we but because we were able to do the trap, we managed to get the ranking point a lot easier because it was
it was worth
because
it.
instead of it's worth it in the way of the ranking point.
Sure.
And even in playoffs, I think it's worth it in some specific cases, like
Sure.
in some specific niche cases where like if you're scoring in your alliance zone and you're like just running out of game pieces, the time it would take, you have 10 seconds left in the match, you have a fairly quick L3 climb, let's say, that you can do it in those 10 seconds. Would you have the time to then drive out, pick up 30 game pieces and drive back and then score those 30 pieces faster than climbing up to L3?
Sure.
Is
Okay. Mike, tell us where 7056 is in their build process.
Yeah. So we're competing at week 1. I'm not sure where AlphaBots is competing, but
They're
so we're
competing week 1 with us.
yeah. Okay, cool.
Lakeview.
So,
Yeah.
yep. Good. So week 1, and we have a lot of pieces being like all cut and not assembled yet, though. They're all kind of coming together at once. Tweaking the width of the intake to not collide with swerve modules on battery, and just getting that swing and still package under the. So we're going to go through the trench. So we're limiting the hopper height. So there's a lot of things at the front of the bot right now that are colliding. But we worked them out, I think, today, and then maybe we haven't found all the things around the shooting mechanism yet, but I think we have a path to cut all those pieces by Wednesday, and maybe on the way even parallel assemble a bunch of stuff.
Okay.
So in Team 7056, we just finally got a 3D printer, so we're printing an indexing hub right now back at the shop. I think it's probably our biggest print so far. It's not that big. It's only a 5-hour print, but it's our first.
Okay. So making some progress, right?
Yep.
So have you guys prioritized, like Brody was talking, did you guys prioritize shooting over climbing? Where were you in that process?
Yeah. Because of limited participation, number of students and skill sets and such, and not to build a bot that's unbuildable by week 1. We're not doing the climb. We're not doing it for week 1. We are doing everything we can to have it for week 4, though.
Okay. And
It's
you're
not
week 4 Mason too, I think, right?
Yeah. So we are not.
That's also our event too.
What's that?
It's also our
They'll
event
be
too.
with you at Mason.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Alphabets
Yep.
will be.
Yeah. Well, yep. Yeah, we were both there last year too. Yep. So yeah, climb. It's not discussed. I won't let anyone discuss it because it's just going to distract us. We're too limited on resources and time and people and people's time. So it's it's a very conscious decision not to execute it, but we are like balancing the mass and the robot properly so we can if we want to give up some hopper space, we can do it. And we can also, if we see the strategy of the game going towards a larger hopper, we're all for doing that too. So after week one, our plan is to make changes for sure. And neither one of those, I think, are outside the scope of our resources.
I think you guys are echoing things that every person that I've had on this podcast since the season
Oh,
started has said the
yeah.
same thing, right? It's this is a difficult season, more difficult than the game looks like, right? Because the game, everyone's like, oh, it's a shooting game. It's like 2017. Let's go look at all the reference designs from them and let's, borrow some inspiration and start building stuff. But then snow happens. We've had a very large snow, at least in Michigan, a lot of snow this year. I mean, my school lost a whole week and a half, which was three practices before now. So hopefully the snow tapers off. But every team has to adjust, and I think you guys are adjusting, and it'll continue to happen, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's laid out in front of us. We know what our resources are. We know what our capability is. It would be just foolish to take on just another element, and then if that took away to getting the robot done 3 days ahead of time and getting, I think those if we could get 3 days extra practice over having a climber, I'd take the 3 days of
Oh
practice
yeah.
because we're all new. So we got we only have one guy coding, and he's new, and all our drivers are new. Human player was on the team last year, and he was on the floor last year. But this is it's a lot of new stuff for us
Yeah.
this year.
It's a rebuilding year. It's a
Yeah,
rebuild. Get it? Rebuilt,
yeah.
rebuilding. Got it. I
I,
tried
I
to.
got I got some tricks up my sleeve on that rebuild theme too.
I'm sure you do, Mike. I know you
Yeah,
do. I know you do.
yeah,
So,
So
Brody, you aren't just you said a jack of all trades, right? In our first intro, I know you code. I know you build. I know you're the driver of your
yes,
team.
yes,
So
yeah.
you do all that. So let's talk about strategy,
I'll
right? I
also
love strategy.
yeah, I'll also wire with my dad. I'll also I don't really
Who's
machine. He mostly well I guess everything but machining.
yeah, he's a
So
great
I'll
guy.
watch it. I'll watch the machine. So yeah, but strategy, the uh, match strategy or robot design
Yeah, no, I'm
strategy.
talking about as a driver, right? So you'll see
Sure.
me. Yeah, actually, me, you, and your dad will all be behind the glass at the same time because he's the drive coach and you're the driver and I'm the drive coach for my team. So we'll be behind the glass. Hopefully, we'll be playing with each other and not against each other, right? But there is that possibility. So as the driver, where do you
Hopefully the
see?
flawless match random
Yes,
schedule decision.
yeah. Tell me what the difficulties as a driver are going to be this year.
So uh our team kind of has a kind of a philosophy, not philosophy, but like a we try to minimize the amount of difficulties on me, the driver. I ideally should be completely replaceable. You could just swap in
Mhm.
someone else, and they can just drive the robot. So it's, that usually means automation and a drivable robot. I I do a little bit of the strategy. Most of it is Aurora on our team
Sure.
for match strategy. She will do the most of the interacting with other teams and deciding the strategy, and I'll just stand there and what and have a little bit of input. Uh, but that's the nature of what you're saying, the
Yeah.
jack of all trades. I don't. I'm not a master of it, right?
Oh, yep.
So I
No
don't.
worries.
So just clarify that in case she watches this. Uh,
She will watch it, and I'd be very entertained. I want to come watch it with you guys so I can see what the back and forth between her and you will be. But I do remember your strategist
yes.
from last year, so she's really good.
Yeah. But I yeah, it's not here, so I'll try to talk about it a little bit. The a lot of the where do I want to start? I don't know where exactly to start with strategy. Like, do you want to start with
How about
like
we
difficult.
just talk about like driving? So where you're going to be the driver, the match is going to start. We're going to go on autonomous. It's a little bit longer this year, right? You can
Yeah,
climb and all that
which
stuff,
is
right?
nice.
So
More time to score.
oh, Mark, exactly. So, what do you think that as you as the driver, and not as your strategist, just you as the driver,
Uh,
would you want to be the first team to go to because we're in cycles, right? We're in scoring cycles this year.
yeah.
Do you want to be that first scoring cycle? Do you want to be the second scoring cycle?
Uh, I like to think of it as simply as possible. You want to win auto for no reason other than, well, there's other reasons, but for the stupid simple reason of you get a higher OPR in Statistics if you win auto. So
Exactly.
but okay, there is actual advantages to winning auto in the match, not just Statistics. The uh the if you there's still that 10-second transition period after auto. So if you're the second, if you start as the second shift, so you win auto and you have that initial dead spot, your alliance area and
Mhm.
whatnot is probably going to be fairly empty in game pieces. And I like to think of the alliance zone as basically the game's biggest hopper. You don't need you don't
Yeah,
need a hopper if you have a fast intake and you have all the balls shoved in a corner in your alliance area. The alliance area is your hopper. Um,
that's the first time someone said that in this season. I like that theory that your alliance area is your hopper, so you're just trying to dump as much fuel
because
into
it's
that area as possible.
because there's someone can always come and steal the game pieces. But if you
True.
have them neatly shoved in a corner, not neatly, but shoved in a corner, it's not impossible to defend them from it and stop them from stealing from that. And uh where was I?
Oh, I could see the gears turning as the driver. I could see you saying, you know, let's get as much fuel into our area as possible. Then you're setting it up. You're already talking about
Yeah, so
defending your area, which is great.
yeah. So if you're the second shift, you still have that 10-second period to clear up, clean up any, do a little bit of scoring. But if you're that second period, then you can just immediately dart over to the other side, and and you can pick up on their far side
Sure.
and pass directly over into your hopper, which is the
Sure.
alliance zone. Uh, it's you can make the argument that, well, they can just defend the game pieces there, but then you can have your teammate passing from the neutral zone, so you both can be passing on the far and neutral zone into your hopper during the initial off period, and then by the time they're finishing up scoring, it doesn't even matter if you've stopped them from scoring, because by the time like say a few seconds before their shift ends, you
Mhm.
dart back to your area to get ready for scoring. Uh, but they still have to finish scoring, so uh, they will be basically chasing you back to your zone, rather than them getting there first. So they won't be able to defend you from that from your alliance zone, because they're still busy scoring. But you've been passing their game pieces that they stored in their game pieces to your alliance section.
Sure.
So so you have reduced the amount of game pieces on their side and in the neutral zone, so they have nothing to pass into their zone, and you have everything stored in your alliance area. And you can, and then you just basically try and defend them and keep them out of your area. And how successful you are at it is, it's just up to driver skill, and uh, the better you do at it, and more score you get, right?
Yeah, I think this is going to be much faster of a game than people are taking into account. I
Yeah.
think that the movement or the heat zones of where robots are going to be. I think all three of our teams, if I read this right, Brody, you guys are going under the trench, right? Yep, we're going under the trench, and Mike, you guys prioritize going under the trench. Mike, tell me why you guys prioritize going under the trench.
Well, the easiest one for us is we've always been building the most efficient bot possible, just the number of square inches of a robot. If you minimize that, then the amount of mass that you hang on that robot, basically. So, because if you were to do a climb, and because the matches are an extra 10 seconds, I think battery life, if you build a heavy bot and trying to lift your bot at the end, is going to be, again, another couple of forces that directly oppose each other. Longer matches, probably shooter wheels that are spinning the entire time, right? You're either passing or you're shooting into your own hub. That means those shooter wheels, multiply by that number of motors or shooter wheels that you have, and all that energy you're going to be expending. That drove just a smaller bot, just a smaller platform. And really, the day before we cut frame rails, I was looking at the CAD, and we had already agreed on a certain X by Y on the frame size. And then I said, well, I think the CAD looks a little free there. It's a little sloppy. There's a little bit of space here. Let's just knock another inch off X and Y. So we're actually as small as we've ever built size wise. And I said, if the game strategy by week 4 says we need a bigger hopper, we'll just go vertical, and we've got the ability to go over the hump.
Okay. Yeah. I think over the past, this is the 5th podcast I've done this year. And over that, I think the kind of theories have changed a lot. At the beginning, when I was talking to people, a lot said, we're just going to go over the hump. And I had some very pointed conversations even after the podcast ended and said, listen, guys, if you're going, everyone says they're going over the hump, that's a lot of traffic. If you don't go underneath that trench, I think you're really cutting yourself short, right? Because you can always build taller hoppers, right? But if you design, I think the 3 of us have designed to go underneath that trench, then you give yourself another opportunity to be flexible.
Yes,
with your
and
elements.
that's one of the design philosophies I think I've kept all along is just to package in some flexibility. Because if we run into a hard stop where we can't make something work, we just need to have that little avenue to get out. In this case, that's just growing vertically.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I did pinch us up on is we've shrunk the bot pretty hard, and I mean, even today we were looking for a millimeter here, a millimeter there on the width, just because of the way the intake was. And I'm not, we packaged for a full width intake. Now, at this point in time, I'm like, okay, we've got everything laid out. If we need to move in a 1/4 inch, a couple 3 or 4 weeks ago, would have never done it. But now it's like, okay, well, we'll just move it in a 1/4 inch. It's not going to kill us.
Right.
Yeah.
And just being flexible. So you guys got to look at the design, right?
Yeah.
It makes sense. So Brody, we talked a little bit about, the driving. Do you think this is going to be a super fast game? Do you think we're going to see carnage when it comes to like intakes and hoppers getting broken left, right, and center? Or
So expanding hopper, yeah. If you have an expanding hopper, you do have the risk of damage, and also has there's this whole thread about it in Chief Delphi of the rule breaking of those hoppers because they're right at bumper height, and you can go over the bumper and and potentially get a foul from that. We've kind of built around making sure that our intake is as sturdy as possible. Basically, not sturdy, but as indestructible as possible, as close as we can get to that. There is no motor on our intake in its current design. It's powered coaxially, so the entire thing is just powered by belts. And there's no
smart.
It's
Smart.
also it's also a linkage as well. So if we hit into a wall, it should be able to just fold up instead of being collapsed.
Sounds like a 4-bar link or a 6-bar link. We've seen some of that stuff out there in Chief Delphi. Yeah. Smart.
So the intake is something we're definitely concerned about because we also like to gear our robots really fast. I know he was talking about a battery consumption that kind of ties into it. Those poor batteries.
So what I hear you say is battery testing is very important this year before you even go to first comp.
Yeah, we don't really test our batteries. We just say, yeah, it's fine.
We'll see if that theory stands up to it this year, Brody. We'll find out. We'll find
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. So in that sense, we gear our drivetrains pretty quick. It's actually the same gear ratio. We're running the same gear ratio as we did last year, which
Okay.
is really sad. I wanted a fast-paced game. I wanted to gear it at like 4.7 to 1 and have like a 22 foot per second robot, but
Yeah, I think you may see a couple of those, Brody. I really do. I think you're
yeah,
going to
but it
see
won't be
some really
optimal.
fast robots. I want to see like Dukes of Hazzard off the hump. I'm sure we're going to see it.
There's
We've seen it in some of the videos already.
um there's a gif of like a kitbot flying off the hump off the bump.
You know,
And it's
Brody,
like flying towards the driver station, so it's like
yeah, well, let's not hope it hits the driver station.
it can't.
But
It can't.
Mi-
It would have to be going at like 40 feet per second to.
yeah, Mike, so something that was brought up last week that I want to reiterate, and something that I talked about the team today, right, is our drive team didn't even take into account, and I have to give, it was John Burdett. He was from Q Branch. He was on here last week. He said, I think we're going to, or it may have been Josh, one of the two of them, because they're the only two on the podcast, said that you want to protect your keyboard on your laptop because if a
Oh,
fuel
yeah,
comes over the driver station, there's going to be fuel all over the place. Okay.
yeah.
Even
I'd
at
suggest that
practice.
you probably need a helmet.
I think everyone in the stands is going to need a helmet.
Well, I guarantee there'll be at least one ref with a bloody nose. There's no way. I mean, with the shooters that I've seen with four motor shooters and trying to
Yeah.
shoot full court, the amount of inertia that ball has is. I don't want someone hucking one of those at my head at any time. So, yeah, good point on the keyboard, and hopefully with the trajectory, I think the drivers will be okay. But I think the refs are probably in. I think
If
there
you
is some
stand
danger
close,
there.
if you stand close enough to the glass, then the vertical would have to come
Right.
down vertically to hit you on the head. So
Yeah.
I'm saying people are arcing those things where it's going to come right down into the thing, right
Yeah.
down into the keyboard,
Yeah. Or it bounces off someone's shoulder that's
off
standing
your
far
face.
away and hits the keyboard. Yeah. I think the refs are going. They're in. They should get hazard pay
Yeah.
this year.
I
Yeah.
think okay, I make this joke. It's not a joke. I don't want anyone getting hurt. Okay. But a lot of grandmas and grandpas come to the events, right? They want to see their grandsons that are driving the robot or granddaughters driving the robot. I think anyone that's coming to this thing needs to have some type of face shield, maybe the reuse of COVID face shields from a
and
couple years
umbrella.
ago.
All
I'm
right. No.
saying everyone's
No.
going to get a shiner. I mean,
Yeah.
they're going to be left, right, center. There's 400 balls on the field just at a standard district event. Someone's going to get hit.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I got hit today at our practice, and it was just the kids trying to throw the balls, the human players, and I got hit like right on the face, and everyone was like, "Oh, coach just got hit."
Yeah.
But that's not 60 feet a second, which some of these I've seen balls shooting out of these
Right.
shooters.
Yeah. Yep.
So
And some of the density of the balls are different. There's
Yeah.
what we've marked some hard balls and some soft balls, trying to track our repeatability on the shot, just see if it's some of the balls are hard with one soft spot. That's another thing we found.
Yep.
So the same ball won't shoot the same way every time, depending on its orientation when it leaves. But some of those hard balls are pretty darn firm.
Yes, they are. Brody,
Yep.
you were going to say something.
yeah, I've done the math on, or not done the math. I've put it plugged into a calculator on how fast you would need to shoot the ball in order to have it cross the field, and it's only actually about 45 feet per second at, I think it's like a 30 or something degree angle to 30 degrees from this direction.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. 30 or 60 depending on which direction you're measuring the angle.
Sure.
At like 45 to 50 feet per second to fully cross one corner of the field to the other corner of the field.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be nuts. It's going to be, I've said this every podcast. This is the perfect game for people to watch in the stands.
Yeah.
It's going to be
fun.
awesome. It's going to be awesome.
Uh, Another thing that I kind of want to talk about is it, and I don't know if is it relevant enough to this. It's a difference between a single shooter and a double wide shooter.
Okay. What
Triple
if
wide
it's a?
shooter.
I'll trump you. What if it's a triple wide shooter?
Yeah, I mumbled triple after that. The one, two, or three. Yeah, the difference between them. I another why I want to bring it up is
Sure.
the impressions of this game, right? So the I think the difference between a single wide shooter, a second wide shooter, and triple wide shooter doesn't really matter. A
Okay.
double shooter and a single shooter should technically have the same potential for game piece. Not the same. It's a two wide shooter has twice as high as a one wide shooter, but realistically, they have pretty similar potentials. So
Mhm.
that the main limiting factor for shooters is midair collisions. So if you have um, a single shot,
Mhm.
single stream of game pieces, you have it's fairly limited because a single one. If you have a second stream, then you have twice as much, and then three times as much. But with a single stream, you have at the at a pretty far distance. If you're it all depends on your distance to the hub. So if you're like super close to the hub, you have like a double or triple wide shooter becomes a lot more worth it because the arc has to be so steep that your midair collisions become likely at lower and lower balls per second.
Mhm.
But the further you get away from that, the more and more a single wide shooter can more or less match the output of a dual wide or triple wide shooter because the furthest you can get from the hub while still being in your alliance zone, you can get close to 20 game pieces per second. Also, I'm getting these numbers from a calculator as well. I don't actually do math. I just plug numbers in. But at least according to whatever the chief delph, I don't know where it's
I saw the
the
balls per minute, balls per
yeah,
second.
midair
Yeah.
collision calculator.
Yeah.
Using that, the furthest distance you can get from the hub, you can get like according to that, it's like up to 20 game
Mhm.
pieces with just a single stream before you get like midair collisions that are bad enough to cause you to miss. So if you and so at that point, 20 game pieces per second it's entirely up to your indexer. You are this game is going to be you are going to be limited by the indexer because if you can make you have to have a shallow enough angle to reach that. But if you can shoot 20 game pieces per second into the hub
Mhm.
and your intake is you've seen how fast the intakes are in the like that have been posted on Chief Delphi. The intaking is basically instant. If you're not limited by your intake, you're not limited by your shooting. You're only really going to be limited by your indexing speed. So the indexer the is really what the limiting factor is going to be, and that's kind of what we're running into as well.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I think there's going to be a lot of anomalies this year. I think that uh, two robots sitting on two sides of the hub and trying to shoot and midair collisions timing where one goes and the other one waits a couple seconds and then goes. I think it's a spray and pray. I call it spray and pray methodology. Two wide, three wides, you're just dumping as much fuel into the air as possible because like Mike brought up, the consistencies of the density of the actual fuel, it varies, right? So, if it was a perfect game piece, everything had the same, just like the kit of parts ones do, they're all similar. But we opened up the boxes that we did for our pre-order, it's totally different. So I think at least that's where my team made a pivot, right? We were going from an
If
active single shooter to more of a double wide design.
I don't know if it's just because I don't know if it's just been the last 3 years or if it's been like this for all of First history. But if there's ever a year where the game pieces aren't inconsistent, then someone has to go check on First HQ and make sure they're okay.
Oh,
Um,
it's okay. It's part of manufacturing. It's part of
Yeah, yeah.
manufacturing.
That's what I'm saying.
Mike's
If they're somehow consistent, then something's wrong.
that's true. Mike's an engineer, so he can talk to that too. But the most consistent game piece was 2017 because it was a wiffle ball,
Yeah.
right? You really can't get a wiffle ball bad. It's all unless there's a different number of holes.
I think the PVC was one of the best game pieces, though.
Yes.
Those
Yeah.
were consistent, and
But that year, that year there was algae, which had the
the algaes were my biggest pain, and I wanted to strangle someone in New Hampshire about that one, because we had a on day 0 we had an end effector that would interact with the ball, and then when we got our ball order in and got their variation of balls, we couldn't even begin to grab that ball out of the box a week later.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
That
it
was
changes.
But so luckily the PVC was great to work with. And in the middle of the summer, I was doing a project here at home, and I'm not making this up. I needed a 12-inch piece of 4-inch PVC.
Well, there's a ton of it.
Yeah, but it was miles away, and I had a 3-foot piece at home. So I was reluctant, and I just chopped myself an extra 12-inch piece. I don't know why I had to do that though. But.
Yeah, I don't. Everyone's trying to guess what we're going to do with all the fuel after this year because there's so much of it. I mean, just tons of it. Dodgeball.
We're gonna put it in a landfill, and then some archaeologists, 100 years from now, is gonna dig it up and pretend
See
they're
the first
not
logo.
Yeah. Look, rebuilt archaeology.
Oh, there's your rebuild. There's your. I got you.
Yeah.
Got you. I knew you had a couple spicy ones in there, Mike.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've been doing this for 35 minutes. If you guys haven't heard, this is Education for You. The perfect podcast is between 30 to 45 minutes. So we're going to cut it right here.
Yep.
So first of all, I want to thank you guys for coming on board. Mike, tell us again who you are, what team you're with, and how we can follow the team.
Oh yeah. Mike Dailey, F.A.S.T team out of Fowlerville, team number 7056. And there's what's the
F.A.S.T team 7056 on Facebook.
Facebook, FRC, 7056. Yep.
I only know that because I created it.
Yep. You created everything. Yeah.
I try. Brody, tell us who you are, what position you are on your team, and how we can follow the team.
Brody Burkhart. I have, it was.
How we can follow the team, and you're the jack of all trades.
Follow the team on YouTube. That's we have our channel. I think there's a Facebook. The
Alpha Bots.
What else is there? I think
my
sister made an Instagram as well. I don't really. That's another thing I don't do. Social media.
That's good.
Social media business. Yeah,
That's good for you, Brody. That's good for you.
Yeah, I'm very awkward. I would be terrible at it.
Well, again, I want to thank you guys for coming on board. Good luck to the teams. Good luck at week 4. I heard that one's going to be a doozy, like a mini states.
Mason will be fun.
Mason will be fun. Well, congratulations on making it this far. Get your robots done. Go compete. We'll check in with you later on in the season. Okay, guys? Good luck.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a good night. See you, Pete.
With eyes raised above what is, there is a view of what could be. Beyond all known horizons are visions of an unformed future, brimming with curiosity that can change everything. When looking for the technology and tools that will turn your curiosity into magic, look no further. Lawrence Technological University. Be curious. Make magic.